I'll just say right off the bat, I think we might lose maybe at least half of the people that follow us or look at this kind of information because it's so out there. It seems like an extraordinary experience. And, I just want to tell people as much as I can as what happened to the actual event. And you can take it or leave it. It's up to you to decide if it's true or not. But I would I feel like I'm doing a disservice if I don't let this come out, because it was supposedly what happened was I had a friend that was into like tarot cards and into kind of messaging like through a Ouija boards. They had that, so it wasn't uncommon for them, for her, and she had two daughters actually, so she was older, and she was a very well known, very high up in her profession. She was in the medical industry, so it's not like she was just some random person off the street that not a crackpot or anything like that. But she was very well respected in her career, and she just happened to do this kind of stuff. And I knew her and her daughters fairly well, and so I would observe sometimes when they would do these little sessions, and they would try to communicate with their dead relatives. And I had tried when I was a kid before and things like that, but I never got any real results trying to use the Ouija. And I wouldn't recommend people messing around with it. I'm just going to say that, like, this is stuff you really should take seriously. I mean, it's basically like a door that you're opening up for other beings to come in. And so I would almost before I get into it, like a way of describing it is it's like a doorway that you're calling out for a certain entity or being or person that, loved one that you've missed. And usually the stronger you have that connection with that person, the stronger they're going to be able to reach you. But it's kind of like, I think it's more like a shouting match. Whoever's the strongest to be able to get their message in is going to be the one that comes through. So you literally have to be very careful. And I think it has to do with your energy, where you are, the people that you are with. I mean, if you're not in a good place, you're not in the right setting, you're not with the right people and environment, it could go terribly wrong. So like, this just happened to be like a very, very good instance where all the stars aligned. We were with the right people. I trusted these people. They're not like, they're not trying to scam me or make this out to be like, oh, this was some, we're going to play them and just pretend like this happened, because I asked some really detailed questions that I don't think they would have had any idea about. So anyway, it was very interesting. I have it all transcribed. So basically there was four of us all together. It was the older woman, her two daughters, and who are grown, we were all grown, and then it was me. And like I said, I had seen them doing messages with family, and it came through pretty clearly. Like within asking the question, within, I'd say just a few seconds, within 5 seconds or 10 seconds, you would see things start to move, and you're putting your fingers on this dial, right? This kind of mouse, if anybody knows.
Right.
Feel free to jump in and ask if you're.
No, I will.
But that's basically the premise, the preface of it, how it works, right? So you just barely put your fingertips on this thing, and and I'll say it like this: you don't just jump in and do it. You want to be sure you almost like clean the room, cleanse the area, like bless the.
Right. It has to be an open space.
You make it a protective space. Basically, you almost say like a prayer or your intention before starting, and that is extremely important because, like I said, you don't know what's going to be able to come through. And I'll just say I've never done any of this ever since this happened, because I was like, this is truly powerful stuff. I'm glad that it worked out in a way that it did, but I'm not going to mess with this anymore, because especially without the right people, and you're able to do that. So I'm just trying to tell people this ahead of time so that they don't just jump in and try to recreate what happened. So anyway, we were able to do this. I was like, I really want to contact my family. It had nothing to do with JFK. I originally wanted to contact our grandfather, who wrote the book, Life with Cosmos Clearance. So that was the main reason for all of for me trying to come together with them and start to see who we could channel. They were channeling their family quite easily, but again, they were all related. They were all in. Like, I think there's certain aspects to this that really key factors that make it more easily for certain beings to come through and channel. But that was to the extent of who they were really trying to reach out to. And I think it really does make a difference when who you're trying to connect with. I mean, if it's a close member of the family, if there's some message they still want to relay and get across. And I think, seeing is believing. Like, you really have to be there. You have to go through the experience. I wouldn't have believed my own story. Like, I would definitely be the most biggest skeptic of the whole idea if it hadn't happened to me. So
Right. Yeah.
since it happened to me, I feel obligated to share it and tell people that, there could be something here. So anyway, long story short, I tried to channel our grandfather and it wasn't really working. So that's why I just was like, out of the blue, it's like, all right, I've tried this a couple times now. We tried a few different times in different periods with the people that I knew. And I just wasn't getting any luck. So I was just like, all right, let's try JFK. If JFK is here, or I just asked the question, could we speak? I'd like to speak with you. Are you happen to be here? So anyway, I started to get these messages coming through. And I was going to say this too about the whole astral realm of things, like why, if you're basically have gone through some trauma or something, and think about it, like ghosts and hauntings and things usually happen where like a murder took place or some traumatic event, suicide, or they died some awful way, or they never got to fulfill their mission or their goal in life, right? So JFK is a perfect example of somebody that has gone through that, and unfortunately, what a traumatic way to end. And I mean, what a pivotal moment in history, and a pivotal precedent, and how significant that he could have, what a role he could have played if he'd still been alive. He's already made such an impact, maybe even more so with the assassination. But anyway, all of that kind of factored in, and I had really done some studying of him, and Justin, I know you did too, have done that. This was like 3 to 4 years ago, so it's a little rusty from like all the information I had been gathering, but I felt it pretty clear in my mind at the time. So I was like, well, my grandfather's not coming through. I'm just going to go ahead and ask for JFK. And I want to say that I have the transcription of what was said. So like I said, there was 4 of us, three women and me, and we were all actually on the board asking. Basically, one person asked the questions, but you're all participating. All your fingers are on the middle dial to see what letters come up and what message comes through. And we had someone else, another friend, that was there to write down the letters as they come through. So you have a record of what was being said, what you asked, and then what was actually the message coming through. So you have that transcription of what he wrote down. And I tried to decipher it to the best of my ability. And I can go through and read what was said, and hopefully we can put this up later on, or it'll be available for people to see as we talk about it.